that back to us. So in a couple months here, I'll have to go through the whole process again to get the permanent 13A. So I'm sure that'll be fun. In the meantime, after we got here, and then we had to go through, within the first 30 days of arrival in the country, we had to turn in, or not even turn in, but had to get my Philippine driver's license, because we bought a scooter, brand new scooter, as soon as we got here. So I had to get my license for that, and you have to do it within the first 30 days of arrival in the country in order to not have to take the exam and take all these and take the test and all that. Just transfer over my U.S. driver's license to the Philippine driver's license. And that was another fun experience. That took I want to say about 5 or 6 hours out of our day, because we had to go to Iligan City for that. The closest DMV, or whatever they call it here, is in I forget the city, Tubag, I think, which is about an hour away. So we contacted them, but they said, you know, we had to go to the regional office, which was in Iligan, and that's about a two and a half hour ride to get to there. So we went up there, and like I said, went up there early, got there as soon as they opened, and spent about 4.5 hours. And of course, they had the fixers there as soon as you arrive, trying to get your business, so you can pay them 500 or 600 pesos just so they can do all the paperwork. But when, like I said, if you got a Filipino with you, why do you need a fixer? So, and then did that, and went next door, did medical stuff and all that, and come right back. But eventually, like I said, after about 4 or 5 hours, they gave us the license. And of course, the license that they gave us had my birth date as being 18 years old on the birth, or on the driver's license. And that's because a lot of the people in front of us were students that had just completed their driver's test and all that, and driver's exam and all that good stuff. And there must have been about 5 or 6 of them right before us, and turned in our applications. So, like I said, I got my driver's license back, and they had me listed as 18. I'm like, yeah, it's good to be 18 again, but whatsoever. So anyway, like I said, got that done in the first probably 21 days after arrival. So we were pretty much all set. And then, of course, we got the 13A approved. Then we had to turn in all that to the Department of Finance, so we could get our tax exemption for our household goods. And like I said, the big concern was getting that delivered, and that ended up in my videos, I want to say about 12 or 13 March, getting the delivery of our household goods. And of course, you know, if you saw some of the videos we have posted, they showed up with 2 40-foot containers instead of bringing some smaller trucks for the lift vans. And the lift van, the wooden crates, we had 16 of those. And so that delivery was supposed to start on the morning of I can't remember. It was a Saturday morning that they were scheduled to arrive here from Cebu. And of course, they got to the port of Ozamas, and they couldn't drive the containers off of the ship, or off of the ferry, because it was too steep and it was low tide. So they had to and this was at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning when they arrived in Ozamas. Then they had to divert to the port of Iligan to be able to drive the trucks off of the ferry port there. And so they ended up arriving at the house here, I want to say about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the delivery, just getting the stuff off of the trucks and out of the trucks and out of the containers and everything, about 1 in the morning. And then they came back the next day, Sunday, to go ahead and deliver, you know, unpack and deliver everything, or place everything into the house, reassemble all the beds, the dressers, the dresser mirrors, and anything that was taken apart at origin. they were required to reassemble when they got here. So they spent most of Sunday doing that. So that all turned out great. And you already, if you watch some of the videos, our house number 3, my wife had bought a third house, a property just around the corner from us. But we put a lot of work into and built a wall around just to ensure that security of our overflow household goods, because like I said, we've been dragging this stuff along for 20 years now through the US, Germany, Japan, back to the US, back to Japan, and then finally to here. So over 20 years, you know, you accumulate a lot. So we had to ship it somewhere or basically get rid of it, and there's no reason to get rid of it since we weren't paying for shipping or anything. So like I said, it gets here, and then we've got the whole third house. We did all that rehab on and put all the household goods into excess household goods into that house, and we're slowly but surely going through the process of delivering this, or opening the back boxes. Like I said, some of these boxes haven't been opened in up to 10 years since we were in Scott Air Force Base in Illinois or in Stuttgart, Germany. And between that, we were in Japan and then Pennsylvania and back to Japan where we retired from. So like I said, some of these boxes hadn't been opened in 12 years. And you know, it wasn't stuff to be thrown away. Yeah, there was no. It could have been. Of course, we could have sold it at flea market and all that other stuff. But no, we decided to bring it all with us, since you know all the places that we had prior to coming here, we had enough storage capacity to store everything. Plus, we didn't have what we were afraid of was coming here, and because the stuff was placed in 90-day storage in Japan, temporary storage, you know, we were afraid that everything was going to get moldy and come here and open the wooden containers and boom, all of our stuff was molded and basically destroyed. But luckily we had no issues with that at all. So and we packed, like I said, we packed out late September. So the humidity in Japan was pretty much just as bad here as it is right now. It was just, the weather was just starting to turn to normal Japanese fall weather when we shipped out of there. So like I said, everything made it safe, no issues. Some minor damage to some of the stuff, but we're dealing with that. We'll put a claim in against the carrier for any of the damage. We have up to 6 months to go through everything, inspect it, check for damage, and then we can go ahead and submit a claim for any of the damaged items. So that being said, like I said, we've done a lot with the house number 3, and one of Lynn's family members is staying at that house, pretty much living in that house and staying there every night. So we have, you know, security over what we have in there. Like I said, this is Wednesday. It's Chicken Fight Wednesday, so people are starting to arrive out on the street there. Hey folks, Jack Mindanao here. Just wanted to give you an up-to-date 6 months in report. Of course, it's almost the end of April, which will make it 7 months, but I'm on Filipino time. How's that? How's that for an excuse? So I just want to give you some heads up on what it's been like the first 6 months here, especially in the province. As you may or may not know, we retired September 28th in Japan, and we flew out to the Philippines the very next day, Saturday, arriving in Manila on the 29th of September. And the biggest thing that we had to do upon arrival was apply for my 13A, because we were shipping household goods here from Japan. So it was imperative that we get the 13A so I can get the tax exemption certificate to import our stuff here without any cost to us, and we don't have to pay the import duties and taxes, which would have been quite considerable, being that we had a 16,000 pound shipment. So if we had to pay the import duties and taxes on that, that would have been close to $10,000 with what we had and what we received back from the shipping company, because we were working with them throughout the exemption process, and if we didn't get the exemption completed in time, I would have had to pay those import duties and taxes. Otherwise the shipment would not have cleared customs, and we would have had to pay a lot more in port storage and demurrage fees and a bunch of other stuff while waiting for the shipment to clear customs, which would have been extremely expensive if we had to go that route. Luckily we got it all done. But a couple things I wanted to say on the 13A process. We were trying to originally get this accomplished through the embassy, Philippine embassy in Japan. So we went by their checklist and putting all of our documentation together. Some of the things we weren't actually able to submit it there because we basically ran out of time. So we decided, that's why when we got here, we immediately contacted Bureau of Immigration, and we went through the process of submitting all our documents here in Manila when we got here. So, but we were going by the embassy checklist. Some things that you need to be aware of because it is completely different if you are applying at an embassy or a consulate Philippine consulate in whatever country you're in, and actually doing it here in Manila when you arrive. One of the things that's not required, that's required by the embassy checklist, is a police report from the country of origin, and with that you got to get an apostille certificate issued by the country of origin. Now, being that we did that through Japan, we went ahead and got the police report, and then we had to take that up to some ministry in Tokyo and get an apostille certificate. So basically I lost 3 days of work to get, number one, to apply for the police report, number two, to come back and pick up the police report, and then three, to turn in the police report, which was done the same day as we received it, to get the apostille. And then we had to come back and pick up the apostille certificate once it was completed. So that's basically 3 days of work I lost getting that accomplished. And then we also had to do a medical exam. Well, the medical exam we did through the Navy hospital in Yokosuka, being that because I am retired military, so I was able to get that all accomplished for free. And it was funny because if you look at what's required for the medical, they require a stool sample, and the doctors there in Yokosuka were like, "What? This is like requirements from the 60s." so we had to do that. You had to get that all accomplished, and we also had to get a financial report. So I got a financial capacity report, got it notarized from the base legal in Yokosuka. So I figured, okay, we can have all that together for when we turn it in. Get here and look at the requirements here, and it's completely different. Didn't require the police response, didn't require the police report and the apostille, didn't require the medical exam, didn't require the financial capacity report. So I'm sitting there just steaming because I had to miss all those days of work to get all this stuff accomplished. And that's straight out money out of my retirement, because I would have sold back all that excess leave to the government. But anyway, we get here, we turn all the documentation in, and I had to in lieu of the police report, I had to get an MBI, which was done in about 3 or 4 days, where we got the report back so we could turn that in. So we went ahead and did that, got that all turned in that first week we were back here in Manila. And then we had to come back to Manila after, I would say, about 4 or 5 Octobers when we actually flew from Manila down here to Mindanao, into Ozamas Airport. And that's, you know, that was my first day of getting back here and seeing the house for the first time and everything. And so we had to fly back to Manila a couple weeks later to get all the fingerprints and all that stuff to turn into the BI. I forget what they call it, but the fingerprints and the photos and all that other stuff that's required. And I thought I had to go through a sit down speak with one of the consulate or one of the BI, Bureau of Immigration people, ask a bunch of questions about why I'm coming here, but that didn't happen either. So we found out on about, I would say, just before Thanksgiving, so or just after Thanksgiving, about 25, 26 November, that my that the 13A probationary status was approved, and it was approved as of 21 November. So that took about 45 to 50 days from the time we actually submitted it. So we flew back to Manila from here, I want to say about 2 December, to turn in our passport to get the stamp on there and get it back so we could travel back. So in that meantime, we went to Angeles and had to do some stuff at the VFW, and so then we just drove back to Manila and flew out as soon as we knew our passport was stamped and approved and the ACR card and everything was complete. And so got back down here, I guess about close to the 20th of December, because it took the embassy or the BI about 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks, to just stamp the passport and get to won't start while I'm doing this video. Like I said, you know, as soon as we got here, I got all my paperwork in order, got that accomplished as soon as possible for the reasons I've listed. And like I said, nothing next. It'll just be getting the 13A permanent approval done, which will be in a couple months. We're going to start getting on the road here. I think our first trip in May, early May, we'll go up to Dumaguete and figure out what that's all about, since all the expats and all the expat vloggers are up in that area, and don't plan on meeting any, but if we run across them, we run across them. But like I said, I have no plans on meeting up with anyone there. Just want to get the layout and see why everybody loves Dumaguete so much. Plus, it gives us a chance to get some real, gives me a chance to get some real Western food, because there is none down here, and that is one of the biggest complaints I have about the province. I'm not big on the local food here, but like I said, it's livable. Since we've been here, we made 2 trips up to Cagayan de Oro, and we did a couple of rafting trips through forget the company, but KG Whitewater Rafting, I think it's called, KGY. And that was good times. We went on the basic course, and then we went on the intermediate course. Next time we go up there, we'll do the advanced course, and that one we won't be taking any kids to that one, since it's for adults only. We had a real good time doing that. And then we've been to Iligan several times. here they have the water parks, or not really water parks, nature springs, and there's, I would say within a 45 to an hour drive from here, there's probably about 10 different cold springs and big pool areas, all fed by natural springs, and the beach is only an hour away, and we've been there a couple times. Like I said, if we fly out, we'll fly out of Ozamas. When we go to Dumaguete, we're going to basically take a trike up to Ozamas, hop on a bus there, go up to Dipolog, get on the ferry there to straight to Dumaguete. Go there for, like I said, a couple days, 3 or 4 days. We'll see how it turns out. When we go on we never have a set return date on any time we go anywhere. So, we stay there until we'll get bored or want to come back here. Like I said, that'll be our first trip back, and then I expect we'll have to go back to Angeles for the VFW and maybe some VA stuff, getting some hospital work done, or just some testing and stuff, make sure I'm physically okay, which no issues so far. I want to say, we'll see. Like I say, and get any medications that I might need. So that'll be our next trip. And who knows? Still want to go to Palawan. Still want to go to some of these other touristy places, but not the ones that are overly packed, overly crowded. Want to get off the beaten path, but go to some nice white beach areas. Since the one we have an hour away. The first time we went there, oh my God, there was so much trash on the beach. It was ridiculous. And we had to sweep a path through the trash just to get to the ocean. And it was the ocean. It's southern Mindanao. So, and the next time we went, it was much better. They had cleaned up the beach. I don't know if it was due to the trade winds or whatever, but the next time we went, totally beautiful beaches, but it's got the gray sand, which isn't really appealing. So I want to go to a nice sandy beach area. Like I said, that's about it for the update. Just want to give you a brief update on our first 6 months here, and my first 6 months here at the house. Like I said, Lynn came back in probably April of last year and stayed till about the end of July, making sure that the house was going to be ready by the time we got here in July, and it was pretty much complete. The only things that still needed to be done is the railings and the glass here had to be completed, and the same thing with the stuff inside the house. The railings and everything needed to be complete, and the glass is installed and all that. But like I said, that was due to timing. Biggest issue we had was during COVID, buying concrete, because a lot of the companies were out of work. They weren't making concrete locally, so getting it from Iligan, getting it from CDO, instead of being able to purchase it locally here, added quite a bit of expenses to the concrete when we were doing the house build. So that raised the cost of the house significantly. But it had to be done. We were on a timeline. We had to get it complete. So, like I said, that's about our first 6 months in report. Like I said, we'll get on the road here shortly, take you out to see some of the places that I've been wanting to visit for a long time, but haven't been able to yet. Like I said, we'll bring you as much as we can from the road. So everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and thanks again for sticking with us through this adventure. Thank you. Take care. Jack out.